Hola, desde Lima, Peru. I am going to be starting my walking and talking video here in the beautiful district of Barranco. And as you can see, there's lots of very beautiful, colorful houses with lots of graffiti. So come along with me and I'll be explaining a little bit more about each of those points as we travel along. Now, it is kind of bright today, which is kind of weird. I love the weather in Lima 99.9% of the time. It's sunny, but there's always this lovely overcast. And for somebody as pale as me, that's a good thing. But don't let that fool you. You know that there is a hole in the ozone layer, and typically the UV index is typically rather high on the dangerous side. So, you know, safety first, be careful. So, even on this bridge, there's been a lot of artwork put into it. And this is one of those districts that historically has a lot of painters, photographers, artists. I think every city in the world basically has one. And so there's always going to be filled with bright colors. There's always something. So I love this area. Now, this is one of the more popular districts here in Lima. So there's going to be a lot of traffic, a lot of people coming in and out. But I don't mind. You get a mix of a vast majority of culture, of different people. Speaking of a lot of the colorful houses, on my left there is a humongous bright yellow church. And I mean, there's lots of yellows, lots of purples, greens, blues, you name it. There's like the whole color palette, which makes this place feel very upbeat, very cheery. We're coming upon, I guess it's like I always say center point. Yeah, the main square of Barranco, and filled with flowers. People just sitting, people watching, just relaxing. Here's the front of the humongous church that I was just walking next to, that is backsplashed in the beautiful shade, like almost a custard yellow. Don't mind me, I like yellows, or different shades of yellows. And then even further down, there's a bank that's in a more bright, vibrant yellow. I'm pretty sure every color of the rainbow, you're gonna find it here. The weather is actually quite nice today. It is a little bit windy, about 15 miles per hour winds, but still very manageable. Yeah, safety first when crossing the street. The one thing that has always been apparent while here in Lima is you'll hear lots of horns and lots of people wanting to cut each other off. That kind of reminds me back at home, but a little bit worse than that. So please be careful. Lots of graffiti. You'll find that mostly throughout all of Lima. That also kind of reminds me of Europe. Like when I was in Rome, I was really surprised by all of the graffiti. And it's kind of sad even here. And I say that as, I mean, it's a very historical area of Lima. There's a lot of colonial style homes, which is very different than the other cool area of Miraflores, which is more modern. Lots of horns. You'll hear lots and lots of horns. Yes, all the dee-dee-dee-dee-dees. Sometimes I feel like they're talking to each other. Almost like they have different personalities because each horn is different and sounds different. But I don't think it would be Lima without the orchestra of horns. You can see as we're walking along that even though the ground is tiled out, they found a really nifty way to try and preserve the trees that were also here already. And they've pretty much built the tile around the trees. So that's really cool. It means that, you know, when they were doing this, somebody cared about nature, because trees are important. They provide us oxygen. So just looking back on the square, you can just see an array, a palette of color, which I personally love. I love colors. Lots and lots of bright colors. Now we're coming up on a restaurant that has these little statues, and they're in their football jerseys, and you will see tons of people in these shirts, jerseys. The beautiful thing.
The beautiful upscale we're going to invite you to know Rustica Hot. Yeah.
Well, I have no idea what just happened or what was being said. I got a flyer for Festival de Cocteles, so Festival of Cocktails, if you're into that. So the jerseys, you'll see so many people around Lima wear them, and you know, they're very, very, very passionate, very proud of their football team, and they really should be proud for everything that they accomplished. I don't know if you heard the Cinderella story of them going to the World Cup this year, but the last time they'd been was 36 years ago, which is crazy. And you know, they never lost their spark. They never let all of the tribulations that happened around their best player Guerrero bring them down, and they played so well. I mean, I'm part Italian, and yes, I am really sad that Italy didn't even make it, but I love Latin America, and I was definitely watching and cheering for Peru and Argentina. They played their hearts out. So we are getting closer to one of my favorite parts here in Barranco, which is the Bridge of Sighs. It was inaugurated on the 14th of February, which is also Valentine's Day, right? I think that's Valentine's Day, or is that the 13th? Shows how much I know. Back in 1876. And even walking up to it, it's still filled with color, beautiful flowers, which is really what this district is all about. It's where a lot of people gather outside of the hustle and bustle of Miraflores, because let's face it, Miraflores is where all the tourists go. It's where everybody pretty much is at, but this is pretty much like the second place to be and to go. Yeah, and there's also a lot of history here. Like, it's part of the historical center. There's a car coming. My bad. Always be careful with that. So, there's a lot of history here. A lot of historical buildings. So you have that as well here. You have almost a whole mix of what all Lima is about. And I think that's why I love this area so much. Not to mention they have really delicious food. I've really been wanting to go to the restaurant that's right next to me in this really bright color purple, because I hear they have like delectable and taikuchos and picarones. And one of my favorite pieces of art with the removed mask, because this was said to be like one of the most romantic districts. So I'm gonna be taking a really deep breath because this is what the Bridge of Sighs is about. Before crossing, you take a huge breath and you walk all the way through, and your wish or whatever it might be is supposed to come true. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, I don't know why I was walking so slow, but I made it miraculously. But I'm not going to tell you what I wished for, because then it won't come true, right? Another really cool thing about this area that I actually didn't really know about is it's one of the top places to go in the world for surfing. I don't surf, never surfed. I'm horrible at even walking and balancing. I can't imagine how bad at surfing I would be. So if you're into surfing, this is definitely a place that you should check out. Oh, I did forget to mention that Barranco translates to ravine, and the Bridge of Sighs actually goes over the ravine, and it's supposed to be the walkway that leads all the way out to the ocean, the sea, the water. So that about wraps up my favorite areas here in Barranco, and I'll see you at the next stop.